Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm so pleased that Rachel has agreed to chat with us tonight. I've been a fangirl for a while now, both jewelry and fiber, and I can't wait to talk about both of those things and then some new things that are coming up in your life. So, how about if we get started? And I would love for you to talk about, let's start with the fiber part of your business, talk a little bit about how it got started and the things you do, and then we'll move on to some other exciting talents that you have.
Sure, absolutely. So I grew up in a creative family. My dad is an environmental designer. He actually graduated from LA from Art Center um, College of Design, and so because my parents were in college all this time, I hung out with my grandmother a lot. And my grandmother was an immigrant from Austria. And she was a seamstress. And she was a professional seamstress. She grew up in New York and made shoulder pads at a warehouse type of thing, way, 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 way back then. And then she moved to LA. So I learned from her way back when I was a little girl on all the fiber stuff. So she did crochet, knitting, sewing. And then in the 80s, because I'm from Los Angeles, it was kind of weird for me to do knitting. So I loved the Elle magazine. Their Elle magazine is a European magazine back in the 80s. And in the back of the Elle magazine was a knitting pattern, and I loved it. And it's kind of like Vogue, and they no longer do that anymore. But I wanted to get back into knitting. At that point, my grandmother was getting older, so I went to a knitting shop and a yarn shop, and then they taught me how to knit. And it was a bunch of mature women that embraced a 15-year-old in their circle. And that's how I got into more of the knitting part. Um, when I was married in the early 2000s, I moved to Missouri. And so Missouri was kind of boring where I was living. So I wanted to pick up spinning because I thought spinning was really cool. So I went to a yarn shop in 2000 and I want to say four, and learned how to spin using a drop spindle in a yarn shop. And from there, I self taught myself on a spinning wheel that I picked up off of eBay in Europe. So it came from, I think it was Holland, and I still have it. It's right here. And I bought that, came from Holland, learned how to spin on it, and then just took off with spinning. After that, I was not seeing a lot of things as far as the dyed fiber. So I got into dyeing my own fiber in 2005 also. And what's crazy is I think I am one of the last people that originally signed up to Etsy in June of 2005. So this was the beta version of Etsy, and
Yeah.
I opened up shop in on Etsy, and it was really cool. I mean, there was hardly any of us, and I still have an Etsy shop, but I don't really put as much attention to it. But yeah, so that in a roundabout way, that's how my journey of fiber, and fiber is really important to me as far as me just mentally just relaxing and doing things to kind of clear my mind. Fiber's always been in my life, and it's really helped me mentally just shift from all the complications in the world that I have to deal with teaching and everything else. So hopefully that was a good roundabout. So
Yeah, no, perfect. Well, and
yeah.
that kind of answers my question because, I know you have a lot going on in your life, but yarn is coming off of your wheel regularly.
Yes.
So, so I love that you said that that's kind of a peaceful place for you, you know, because
Definitely, yes.
sometimes we have a side quest or a side gig or whatever, and it becomes this chore. So that's lovely.
Yeah, yeah, and it really helps me just chill out because I have a very intense full time job, and so I try to just do a little bit of fiber. So just a little bit of fiber, but I try to stick in everything, but sometimes it's kind of hard. So yeah.
Yeah. So then you are also, you make jewelry,
Yes.
and you are an illustrator because
Yeah.
for one thing, you drew me a picture that changed my life in some
Oh,
ways.
nice. That's really cool.
So
That's really
talk about your
cool.
jewelry. I have those spindle
Yeah,
earrings and I
so
just
I
love them.
I probably am an undiagnosed. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I started metalsmithing in the 90s with Cal State Northridge, where I went to school, and I have a bachelor's degree in photography and a master's in art education. So part of the photography degree was doing kind of 3D type of things. So metalsmithing became one of those classes that I took, and from there I stuck with it, and just and I also cut my own stones. I do rock hounding also. So that's another avenue that I like. So I'm probably an undiagnosed ADHD person because I hook on to a lot of different things. And then because of my background with my father, with his illustrations and his drawings, it's just kind of I've picked up from that. Um, I also have a loom, but I'm not weaving. I don't have enough time, so I will be also working on weaving. I also will be sewing. I have also, because this is my ADHD, I also have a 800-pound printing press from the 1900s that I need to move to Oregon, in the
Wow.
garage. So I will be printing. I'm going to be printing some old printing blocks that I have of sheep and sewing. Eventually, that's what I hope to
Wow.
create, some little booklets and things like that. So I have that too. And then eventually, I would like to get into stained glass. so, so yeah, I go all over the place. So yeah,
That's awesome though. I think that keeps everything kind of fresh,
yeah, yeah,
you know?
definitely.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if you find this, but I find that even if they seem totally unrelated, one thing kind of informs the other.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then all of a sudden I've got this idea that I got from, I don't know, photography that becomes weaving or colors from,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I'm putting a lot on myself, but that's how I've always been. So I just always move from one thing to another. And then, yeah. So, but I thought about the drop spindle earrings because, of course, that's how I started. And I've always kind of spun that around my head. That's kind of funny. And so then I just tried it out, and everything again is hand fabricated. Unfortunately, I'm not going to probably do any metal work until my big move after that and get settled in. I just don't have time for it right now, so I'm just focusing on the fiber. I'm probably just going to do, a couple more shows, and then after that, I just can't because there's too much going on in my life right now. So, yeah, but I love metalworking too. So
So it everything happens in your home now. Is that true? Do you do your jewelry there and your
yeah,
fiber there? Okay.
yeah, yeah. So I have a studio space, and so I'm in my studio space right now. When I moved to Oregon, I'm still gonna have a studio space, but it's gonna be outside in a huge workshop, so that'll be cool. But I do have a designated studio space, and I'll miss it because it's pretty cool. So I also collect a lot of antiques, so I'll kind of show.
Oh, yes, please.
So yeah, so so this is my spinning area. So there's my spinning wheel. Sorry, there we go. Spinning wheel, and then there's my old spinning wheel that I originally had. That's the one I learned. So there, and then here's my loom. So I have a Sawari loom, and so this is my yarn stash for now. Here's my drum carder. It's a classic carder, and you can see some of the antiques. That's my grandmother up here.
Oh, wow.
She's always looking at me. So as you can see, I collect a lot of antiques, fiber related. So there's old crochet things and ribbons and things like that. Over here is some of my printing stuff, and then here is where I have my metalwork. So
Okay.
here's my bench. I have a torch set up, and then underneath the boxes are my lapidary equipment for cutting stones. And then I just have some storage for fiber, and I'm kind of prepping for the show and this month, so I'm putting a little bit out. And then that's it. So, and then you can see some of my antiques. So, but that's kind of how it's very cozy. I love Navajo rugs, and those are some of the rugs on the ground. So that's my little studio, my little happy place.
So is this a room in your house or a separate building or?
Yeah, it's a room. It's actually, this is an enclosed patio.
Okay.
So we enclosed it, and it has a heater and AC unit and everything. So it's enclosed. It's a very nice, when we sell the home, it's a very nice, I guess, Arizona room, sometimes what they call it,
Yeah.
or enclosed patio, but it'll be very, very nice. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice big space. It's nice to be able to move around, but have
Yeah.
all of those things.
Yeah. So eventually, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna start dismantling it this month. So, oh well. So yeah.
So big changes happening. You've talked a little bit about the move, but something's going to happen before that.
Yeah, so I've been a special education teacher for almost 17 years, um, and it's a challenging job. It's moderate to severe because that's my credential. So I will be leaving that district on June 7th. So it's a kind of it is emotional because I really strive to help these students out that are, you know, the challenge. It could be behavior, it could be their part of their disability, but it's going to be a huge shift for me, but I deserve it. So it's been a long journey. So that's the big shift. Yeah. So it's a lot of work. So it's a lot of work. Um, but I'm looking forward to it. So June 7th will be my last day of teaching with Paris district that I work at. So
Right.
I'm so
And
very
then
helpful.
a move to Oregon.
Yes, so I moved to Southern Oregon. I've already purchased the home, and so it's waiting for me patiently. And and then we're gonna do a big move. So I only can pack and move stuff during my breaks, because I can't take any time off. I have to bank as many hours in to get my service credit. And so I'm moving things up only during my break. So we're going to do a big move during spring break, which is coming up soon.
Okay.
So yeah,
Well,
looking forward.
that's kind of nice because a lot of times you can't do it in waves.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Huh.
So
So
And
how
so
far is it from where you are to there now?
it's 12 hours
Okay. Wow.
driving. Yeah.
Okay.
From Palm Springs, I can get a flight from Palm Springs to Medford, Oregon, and it's 4 hours. So that's not bad. But
Okay.
right now it's 12 hours
But you can't
driving.
take much on the
So
plane with you.
no, exactly. So exactly. So yeah.
So what's the new place like?
So it's pretty cool. I like nature. So the home is kind of like a craftsman style, but it's from the 80s.
Okay.
So I like wood, and I like wood, as you could see. And so the front of the house is going to be my fiber area, and it's really beautiful. Lots of trees. It's going to be on an acre. It's on an acre and a quarter. Eventually, I would love, love, love to get two Shetland sheep and hope for the best. And
Awesome.
then, yeah, because they're, from what I understand, is they're not as like crazy, and they're small like a Labrador. And I thought that would be really cool. So, and it's, I have a big enough property where I can at least try two. So eventually I would love. And so then there's a 32 by 40 workshop space, and that's what we're working on right now, is to insulate. We just put in windows, insulation. We got to put walls up and electricity. So there is still quite a bit to do. And it would also be nice to have some plumbing too for water and stuff like that. And so then my metalsmithing and possibly my dyeing will go into that workshop, whereas my fiber, the drum carding and the weaving and spinning would be in the front of the house.
Is
So
going to stay in the house. Okay.
yeah, so I thought that would be good. So yeah, so we'll just see. I'm excited. It's new beginnings.
Yeah.
So
It is there was there a reason that you picked that area of Oregon?
yeah, so uh, my significant other, he has a daughter that lives in Bend, Oregon, and then his son lives in Seattle. My son currently is going to school in Anchorage, Alaska, and so he's going to do possibly his credentialing program in Eugene, Oregon.
Hmm.
So I was like, cool, that's perfect.
Uh-oh.
So that's why we picked it. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go.
You're back.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that that I could spend more time with family. So, and it's cheaper than California, and California's cool, but it's very expensive where we live. And it just doesn't seem sustainable with a retirement um, income. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited that you're going to continue to do all your things.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I always hope for, because like when I um, done teaching, I just was kind of stockpiling all my equipment and buying new things, and because I can afford it at that point. And
Right.
when I retire, I probably won't be able to afford as much. So, yeah, so I'm just hoping for the best. So,
Wonderful.
yeah.
So I want to ask about because you make beautiful colorways.
Oh, thank you.
So I wanted to, and they're I feel like they're recognizable. You have a
Oh, okay.
you have a style that I love.
Oh, thank.
Um, so talk to me a little bit. I know you often, I think that you gather inspiration from nature.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about your process. How does that work?
Sure. So a lot of it is nature inspired. So for this month, I'm doing women's history, and with women's history, I thought about doing paintings. So I focused on that with my blended bats. So a lot of my colorways that I do for my roving or my comb top is based on nature. So I'll take pictures and I try to post them on the palette of the month challenge type of thing when I have time. And usually I'll use an app. I think it's called Adobe Color or something, Adobe Capture or something. And then it kind of shows you, like, you put your picture in and then it shows you like how many colors you like with the dots. And then, because I'm not going to touch my phone because I do
Right.
but it does, like, you can have like so many dots and then it like pinpoints the colors that you want and you can move them around and
Oh,
yeah, and then I create my colorways based off of that. But honestly, now I can just look at something and say, okay, I'll use that. And I usually use acid dyes
I was
with
going to
jacquard,
ask.
yeah,
Okay.
jacquard and Cushing dyes. So I do a mix of them, and then I just kind of know with the amount of colors that I use, which color would be similar to that. So that's how I do my coloring. And I learned back when there was no YouTube. I learned from a book, and it's,
So you're dyeing everything that you're using.
yeah, dye everything, even for my bats too. So
Okay.
all my bats are all hand dyed. But this is this book right here, and it's probably backwards, but it's
Nope.
the Twisted Sisters Sock Workbook.
Ooh.
And yeah, this book is where I learned how to do my dyeing because they didn't have YouTube back then. And that's how I learned how to do the cold pour technique. And so that's how I learned, because I wanted to create my own colorways rather than have somebody else do them. So that's how I learned. And it's an older book because that it was back in the 2000s when I got it, and it is by Lynn Vogel. So it's that one right there. And she has another book out too. And it even has knitting instructions too, but I just wanted to dye my own things. And then because I've seen your natural dyes too, now that has opened up a whole other idea exploration too, because now I'm going to be in a wetter area and
Yeah.
I'm hoping to have a garden, a specific dye garden, and then experiment with that too. And I want to try to do the same thing that I'm doing with my colorways with the comb top with natural dyes with the cold pour technique, because I'm real specific where I add my colors. And so I want to try it instead of dipping the whole all the wool in a pot. I want to try to do different colors and see what comes up. I don't know. I'd be want try to experiment. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know how it will turn out, but I want to try that.
Yeah.
So
Those techniques are tricky
yeah.
with natural dyes because it has to be immersed.
Okay. And then I'll try it. Yeah.
Absolutely. You absolutely should try it. What I found was that natural dyeing is a little hard on roving. And so
Okay.
I had to expect to card it.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, I've tried several times and had, like one successful braid that I might have sold when it came out of the pan,
Uh-huh. Okay.
but to get those deep dives. But I believe that there are lots of techniques that are available to acid dyers that natural dyers can use. I just think we have to think differently about it.
Yeah, experiment. I'm
Yeah.
gonna I will definitely. So
Yeah.
then what does it do that it creates a hardness on the roving? What does it do?
Well, it isn't so much a hardness, it's just um it's not neat anymore,
Okay.
I guess is what I would say. So, when I um like I talked to Rachel Moberg last
Uh-huh.
week, and she talked about, how she fluffs those braids so they're just,
Uh,
pristine. And so, when I pull roving out of the pot, it's just not pristine anymore.
Oh,
There's little fuzzies on it, and I get, you want your work to represent you, not just,
yeah.
in all kinds of different ways. So, I think there are possibilities. I think I want to experiment with like eco and bundle dyeing yarn.
Okay. Yep. Yep. That would
What,
be cool.
because Tuck, no. Because I want to do like speckling and things like that.
Yeah.
But again, that has to sit, it has to sit and generally and then steam,
Mm-hmm.
but it won't color deeply unless it's immersed. So, adventures, all kinds
Yeah.
of adventures, and then we'll compare notes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm hoping for. Is just having more time to try things out, and see what happens. And then, just like everything, it's like, okay, well, that didn't work. So, and then I do, when we talk about colorways too, I have up in my notes, and then I'll adjust here and there if I don't like the way the colors are representing when I spin it and things like that, or it just doesn't come out the way I want. So I'll just continue making notes and see what comes up. So,
Yeah. Oh, what
but they,
wonderful opportunities, though.
yeah, yeah. So but I don't, honestly, with my comb top, since I'm not like a big producer, I just do little tiny amounts. So it's just, I don't have the setup to do that. And honestly, I don't really want to make a bunch of dyed pieces. I like things small, and it just works better that way for me. So, and I usually, it's just very selective colors that I like to do, and then for the month, and then that's pretty much it. So
Yeah, I feel the same way too. For me, it's a more personal experience,
yeah, definitely.
and I mean, I can only put 300 grams in a pot.
Uh-huh.
So there's no production here,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I don't do production either. I have one crock pot. Well, it's not even a crock pot, it's just the steamer pot thing. And then I just do maybe like two rovings, and
Yeah.
then 1 ounce pieces that I'm going to do drum cutting, and then that's it. So, and that's what I do for the batch. So,
But that makes it so, I mean, I really believe there's a place for everybody, but that makes it very unique.
yeah, yeah.
The things you offer every month are really
Thank,
unique.
thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. I
I don't,
love
I
that.
don't a lot, so it's just a little bit, and then I just hope to fill up like the 30-minute time frame, and it's like, all right, this is all I have. And I feel bad because I don't have the time to do my metal smithing, so I can't do my spindle earrings and pendants, but eventually I will. I'll get back to it. Yeah.
I, you know, we can only do so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Eh,
Yeah, I don't like it when I'm overworked, and I just don't feel creative. So,
No,
mm-mm.
no.
And I,
Go ahead.
I have I have another idea, and I've been tossing this around, and I think we've talked about too with weaving. So I have drawn out some ideas with pendants, and I have some thin copper and brass and sterling wire to do some weavings. So I still have that planned. So they would be riveted weavings, and they'd be pendants. So, and then, yeah, so I have that in the works too. I just sketched some stuff out. And so I'm hoping to get that going too.
Oh,
So,
that's fun. We're talking about doing some of those kinds of things with wood. So I love those ideas with the little weavings.
yeah, just little something.
How
But,
beautiful.
but yeah. And I had another idea with a ball of yarn, but the ball of yarn would be either copper or brass, and then create some fabricated sterling knitting needles stuck in them as earrings. But I
Oh,
have that.
I
So
love that.
Yeah, so we'll see.
So
We'll
many
see.
ideas.
Yeah, so many ideas. Yeah.
Right. And so little time.
Yeah. I wish there was additional 10 hours in the day to
Right.
get it all done, So, yeah,
Yeah. I
definitely.
think, you talked about feeling bad about only having so much. I I think people appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that in an
I-
artist, that it's personal and that they're sane, you know.
yeah.
I
And,
just,
and the thing is with my bats too is because everything's hand dyed. Um, I just want it to be something special, and so
well,
yeah,
and it's a process, right? I
yes,
mean, not good or bad, but you're creating it along the way.
yes,
You're not pulling from fiber that you already have, so there are different niches for so many different kinds of things,
yeah, exactly.
and I think it's that true to yourself. And when I look
Yeah.
at your things, that's what I see.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of people that do fiber, and we all can learn from one another, and it's a great community. So
Yes.
to learn. So yeah,
Yes. Yes, for
yeah,
sure. So
yeah,
you're doing this show in
yeah,
March, and you're doing women's history, and your stuff is based on women artists paintings, correct?
yeah, yeah. So I've done three so far. Um, I've done Lee Krasner, she's an incredible artist. And then I just did a Frida Kahlo one, and I found a painting of hers, and I never saw this before, but it's of a woman knitting, and so it's just
Oh,
like I
wow.
cool. Yeah, super cool. So the colorway is kind of based on that painting as well as her Vogue cover from 1937. So I am trying to like take pictures as I go, and that's hard too. I do videos of my process, but sometimes like stop, go, and then
Right.
sometimes I just want to be in the moment and
Right.
not stop and take like videos. So but I
Yep.
love doing the creative process, and people seem to like watching my videos of doing that.
Yes.
Uh, but yeah, I've got Lee Krasner, Frida Kahlo, and then I just finished that Clint Hilm off Clint. I probably am messing up her name. I'll be doing a Georgia O'Keeffe one, and then another one that somebody posted on one of my pictures that I posted in the community group. I forgot her name, but she does quilts. I'm going to try to get that one done. I just dyed some sapphire blue to represent her quilt or her painting that she did. And then it was based off of a quilt. And then there's another artist, and I'm bad with saying her name too, but she is from the 1700s and does botanicals. And she does, so I'm going to do a rose painting of hers, and then if I have time, I'll see if there's anything else. But yeah, so I'm going to do this March show. I'm hoping to get into April. And
Okay.
then after that, I'm taking a leave of absence because
Right.
it's everything that's going on. And then my idea for April, if I get in, is to do I'm going to look and do some research on women that were born in the month of April that are fiber artists and see if I can find any type of fiber or type of things like that and see if I can find something about them and then create
Wonderful.
color. Yeah. So each bat that I create for this show will have the picture. I did a printout of the picture with their information. So and there's going to be about 7 bats, and that's it. So that's all I'm going to do. So yeah, so it'll
Heads
be
up.
fun.
Heads up to everybody who's watching. Get your fingers ready.
So I just yeah, so I have 3 done so far, and then I just did a batch of dyeing for the O'Keeffe one, and Her name's Maria, for the one that was born in the 1700s.
Okay.
So we'll see. Hopefully, I will definitely get it done this weekend. So yeah.
Awesome. So tell
Yeah.
us when your show is this month.
Sure. Yeah. So I had to move it to Friday because that weekend I got to pack. So I got to pack and do another load up to Oregon. So it's going to be Friday, March 29th at 6:30. So I'm the very last person on Friday night.
Okay.
Woohoo. And 6:30, that's Pacific time. And yeah, so it's March 29th, Friday, 6:30 Pacific time. So
Okay.
yeah.
Where else can people find you?
So I have my own website, and if I don't even throw out it's Etsy, but I do have an Etsy shop, but whatever. But I have my own website. It's just my name, Rachel, and then with a middle initial M Post. So rachelmpost.com, and I do have my kind of a resume up, and I am a published artist. I've been in various books published with my jewelry instruction as well as my fiber. So there is actually my resume is listed on that website too. So, but I am a published artist too. So
Wonderful.
yeah,
All right. And then social media, obviously you have
yeah,
Facebook.
and
In
I have Instagram,
okay.
and it's just my name. I just make it really easy. Rachel M Post. I have TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and that's it. So
Right. And you have a pretty good following on TikTok.
yeah, it's kind of weird. It's yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. I like I used to do a lot of lives
Right.
during the pandemic. I started it during the pandemic. And then I just sometimes the lives are kind of cool and then sometimes they're kind of weird. So so sometimes I just pop on here and there and it's cool because I love to answer questions and people seem honestly interested. This is what I love. I call it, my heritage crafts. And this is kind of like what my ancestors would have been doing. So I love people to ask questions, and they always say that they've never seen this type of equipment, that they're always, surprised to see people still doing this and that type of thing. So yeah, so that's it. That's my little. I try to post as much as I can, but sometimes it's hard. So yeah,
It's another job.
yeah, yeah,
It really it is. And when you're trying to create and then film or take
yeah,
photos, it does interrupt the process for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like wait a minute, and then I'm like, okay, yeah. So
All right. So talking about answering questions, we're going to open up now. People can
okay,
unmute themselves and Rachel will take questions.
sure.
All right. Oh, it's a quiet group. Hmm. Well, apparently we did a really good job
Yeah, I would say so.
covering it all. And what a perfect way to herald in the first day of spring.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll ask a question.
Okay, Margot.
Yay.
Why would you choose Shetland sheep for the sheep that you want up in Oregon? I'm asking this because they are the best and my most favorites, but why did you choose them?
Well, because they're small, they're smaller. And I mean, I have this crazy idea, and I don't know if it's possible either. Um, I'm an avid hiker too, so I don't know if it's possible, but I don't have any dogs right now, so I would love to take them on hikes too with me. I don't know if that's possible.
Goats.
I had this idea. It's like, oh, that would be so cute. But I've heard that they're much easier especially me, because I'm just one person. They're just much easier to take care of. They're not as frisky, or at least that's what I was told, and that they're hardy. And I love spinning Shetland wool, and I thought that would be super cool. And here's another one that would be another plus, is that my father's side is from Scotland. And so the post name, I'm part of the Campbell clan. And so I don't think it's necessarily Shetland, but it's, the Shetland sheep that's kind of in that area. So I would think that would be pretty cool too. So, but I've heard those sheep are very easy, or easier to take care of. And that's,
Well, they are a smaller sheep. Okay,
yeah.
so you're looking at the ewes to be between 50 and 80 pounds, depends.
Oh, that's good.
So that's a pretty good size as far as relationship to a dog.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're looking to take them for walks like you would your dog, um, you would want to make sure as little lambs that
Oh,
you um, introduce them to the harness.
okay.
Okay. You would definitely want to do that because I mean they may follow you, around if they're really friendly and you give them chin scratches and all of that kind of stuff. They do wag their tails when they're happy.
Oh, that's
Okay. So that's kind of cute. But um, I would personally recommend you do a lot of research before you choose a sheep.
oh yeah.
I live in Oregon. I'm not sure about the Medford area as far as predators are concerned.
Okay.
Okay. But, definitely do a lot of research before you get into, having any sheep.
Oh,
There's a lot of reasons I'm saying this. One, you're going to need to make sure that there's enough large animal vets in the area where you're going to be at. If you do have, sheep of any kind. I mean, the little baby doll Southdowns are even smaller than the Shetlands,
oh.
and they're cute little things. But I was just interested in is like why you chose Shetland.
That's what I had thought of originally, Angora goats, but then I've heard that Shetland are just easier mannered, hardy. And so, but yeah, I definitely will do research, because that's also a time commitment and a financial you know financially, that also, I just want to make sure they're okay too. I need to do quite a bit of research just to make sure, but that's kind of a dream at this point. But I would love, that would be something that would be really cool. So,
I would think goats might be
but
better hikers.
oh, hikers, yeah, okay. But I thought it would be cool. But
Yeah.
and then as far as the predators go, I do know that there is, because I'm kind of near Grants Pass, but it's on the outskirts. So there are a lot of deer that come through our property, and there has been bear sightings and things like that. So I would have to, yeah,
They just need
definitely,
an enclosed place. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, and
definitely.
you're gonna have more coyotes there.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
And I mean they're all over up here. They are all over up here.
okay,
And so I mean there's going to be, just do your research, Rachel,
yeah.
seriously, or you're going to be taking those little sheep and they're going to be living in the house with you, you know.
I
And if
have
you're
to be
only
able
looking
to,
at two, that's not too bad.
yeah, that's not, yeah, I would only get two. And then I would have to probably get a dog too. And yeah, so, but that's, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
deep hole.
It is a deep hole, and that's one of the reasons why we haven't done it,
So,
because we're on 5 acres up here,
well, thank you for
and
sharing.
and
Oh,
The biggest reason is the predators is why we won't do it. And we're on top of a mountain, and so if we needed a vet, we'd have to do it ourselves. So, I mean, there's a lot involved
Okay.
with doing it. So I think it's cute. I love your idea, being able to take them for a walk or a hike. I mean, that is just absolutely, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of like Disney, you know, like, woo, you know, looks good.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, no, 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 no. So it's like my Disney dream. Like, yeah, with my mom.
Start with a knitted sheep that can fit in your backpack
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
That's what I
That would be cute. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions for Rachel? All right. Well, Rachel, this was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for asking me. I was like, okay. I
I'm
hope it was interesting.
It was wonderful. I'm so excited to see. I mean, I know you've got things to do between now and then, but I'm really
Yes.
excited to see what happens once you get settled, and get
That's
set up.
Yeah, it's going to be an undertaking too, but I'm hoping it goes smoothly. So, so yeah.
Well, you've got some time between now and then. Sounds like
Yeah.
lots of trips between now and then.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this is the last one before because I'm not doing Labor Day because that's crazy driving. And so, so this will be it until I retire. So this coming up spring break one, and then hopefully we can move quite a bit. So, so yeah.
Well, good luck, safe travels,
Thank you. Thank
and I
you for
hope you
having.
have a wonderful show this month.
Oh, well, thank you. I just love doing it. It's what I love. Even if it's I just love sharing what I do, and it's the process. So, um, and it just like a nice little boop, and then that's it. So, so
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Exciting that I am back into the YouTube channel now. And so the last 3 or 4 will go up over the next couple of days. And then this one will go up also. So it'll be on the YouTube channel for anybody who wants to watch again.
That's cool.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye bye.